been teasing at this for a couple of months, but we here at the Screamcast have teamed up with coffeeshopofhorrors.com. Right now, if you go and order a bag or two of their coffee or sample pack and type in Screamcast in the coupon code area when you check out, you'll get a 10% discount on their coffee. Also, we'll be doing monthly giveaways of their coffee, so stay tuned for that. Again, coffeeshopofhorrors.com. Type in Screamcast in the coupon code and you'll get 10% off your order. We're really excited to be teamed up with them. Hopefully you guys check out their coffee and enjoy it as much as I do. All right, let's get on with this week's show.
Something's coming.
Stand by. Hold on to your hats, here we go.
Welcome, everyone, to the Screamcast, episode 52. I am Sean DeRager, and with me, as always, is Brad Henderson.
Hi.
We have Bizarro Brian on the show with us. You may remember him as the Anthony Davis expert.
Anthony Davis.
Did I say it wrong? Alex Davis? Robert Davis. Andrew Davis. Andrew Davis expert. Hold on. Let me do a shot of Fireball, and this will help me out. Oh, hello. The Andrew Davis expert, Brian. I apologize, and I will not edit any of that out.
Why am I Bizarro, Brian? Where did that come from?
Because there's who's that other co-host we have? Brian
Sauer.
Oh yeah, Brian Sauer.
I barely remember him. I think at this point, this is my second time on the show. I feel comfortable taking his place.
I can see our people may have to contact his people. There may be some contracts that may have to be drawn up, but I'm sure we can figure something out.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just kidding. We love Brian Sauer, and we made it clear he's going to be hopefully a once a month booty call to the show.
Wow.
Anyway, today we are talking Scream Factory's new release, Exterminators of the Year 3000, a futuristic film of survival.
Is that like the tagline?
Yeah, that's what the cover says.
I always remembered it as like 1,000 ways to die, one way to survive. And the way to survive is just to turn off the fucking movie.
Well, who knows with these movies, because every movie has like so many different alternate titles and taglines, and but it's great.
Yeah,
So
I get confused with Italian cinema stuff because they literally do. They have like 5 different titles per movie. But
let's jump into our just really quick our experience with Italian cinema, Italian Post Apocalyptic in general. But I'm mostly familiar. I first grew familiar with kind of the Italian movies more with like the westerns, like the spaghetti westerns, the Clint Eastwood flicks, the Django films. I've been trying to catch up on and watch, and then some of the Bruno Mattei zombie flicks. That's kind of my extent into kind of the Italian cinema. But they also, when I listened to Junk Food Cinema podcast, one of their first ones was covering like Bronx Warriors and all these movies. So they've been on my list to check out, and Scream Factory came to the plate with Exterminators of the Year 3000. Blue Underground did Rats, like a double feature, right? With Rats and another zombie flick.
Hell of the Living Dead.
Hell of the Living Dead. I get all, Living Dead, whatever. And then, of course, they're releasing, what are the 3 they're releasing? Blue Underground's releasing Bronx Warriors. Help me out, Brad.
Yeah, they're doing Bronx Warriors 2, which is Escape from the Bronx,
yes.
And then Warriors of the Wasteland, which is New Barbarians.
Yeah. So these have been like on my radar to check out, and I was kind of waiting to dive into these down the line. But, things happen with the show, and we kind of have to make a decision on what we're covering. And the mail, USPS people, is a piece of shit, and some stuff had not made it my way just yet, so we put some things on hold, and we're talking this. So
basically, you make everything a big disaster, Sean.
I do. No, I mean the USPS is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I'm pissed.
Brad sent me something like a month ago and still hasn't arrived. So either
Lost.
someone out there in like the in the marshlands or whatever of Florida has my movie, or it's just sitting on a truck somewhere, just sitting there. But I digress. Brian, what's your experience with Italian cinema, genre cinema, I guess?
Well, with genre cinema, which I was watching a couple today actually, just to kind of get ramped up for this. And the only way I can describe them is like I started calling them Italian trash movies because it's just like they take like the lowest denominator, and it's a mishmash of like successful, mostly Hollywood movies. Anywhere from like Mad Max to
Escape from New York.
Yeah, Escape from New York. And my experience is kind of limited. I think the first, I don't even think it's post-apocalyptic. Brad, you can help me out on this. Was the what's the robot hand movie? What's that called?
Oh, Hands of Steel.
Hands of Steel.
Yeah, no, I would consider it one of those, but it's pretty awful too.
The title's amazing.
Oh yeah, the title and the VHS are definitely the best parts of the movie. But yeah, I'm not super into this genre really. I think it's interesting for reasons beyond the like content of the movies, because the movies are pretty much all garbage. It's Italian garbage. But it doesn't mean it can't be fun.
Right. Yep.
Certainly a couple of them are worth a watch.
Awesome, Brad. I mean, Brad,
Yeah.
you.
Hey, what's up?
You are our Italian post-apocalyptic expert, because this is like flowing through your veins.
Yeah, but
And,
I agree. I agree with Brian. It's not good. It's just
Right.
I get that enjoyment out of it. Just I don't know. I kind of like the sets, the costumes, and because basically they all have the same plot. They're all searching for water or gas, or there's some kind of disease that's out there. Someone's infertile. They're trying to find someone to impregnate. That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I enjoy the musical aspect, with the soundtracks, the set design, if there is any. You just see what they can come up with. It reminds me a lot of like John Carpenter's Dark Star, when that was a student film where they were just turning over muffin trays and taking apart like lawn equipment and just putting it up on a wall to make it look some kind of like a spaceship. And it's kind of the same thing. They just grab whatever. They go to a dump, and they film there, a car dump, and they make it to be, part of the wasteland that they're fighting or searching for something in. So I don't know. I kind of enjoy that aspect. There's a couple films that are really, really good. Raiders of Atlantis, but everything else. I mean, it just like they all have fun things, but as far as like a great movie, I don't know if that really exists in this subgenre of apocalyptic cinema. But even Italian cinema, like when you say Italian cinema, you're classifying everything. But I
meant
that,
more
like
genre.
Yeah, the genre stuff. I don't know. I think there's a lot of lost in translation going on is a big part of it.
Literally.
Yeah, a lot of these films, the productions were very, very quick because there was a success in the U.S. So it was mostly the Italians. They would go over to the Philippines and film their movie there, and the Filipinos would make their films over there. And we just got this barrage of films in '83. That's exactly what happened, because we had The Road Warrior in '81, Escape from New York in '81. And then in like '83, Exterminators of the Year 3000 came out. 2019, The Fall of New York. Savage Dawn, Raiders of Atlantis, Striker. I think maybe even Battle Truck came out around that time.
Nice. Okay.
Even actually the Blue Underground titles like New Barbarians, Escape from the Bronx, and Bronx Warriors, all those came out in 82, 83.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we just got a ton of these movies because they wanted to play off the success, because those two movies did really, really well on box office and home video. And it was easy for these guys to get their movies out there. But they just kind of overshadowed one another. And, of course, Road Warrior and, Escape from New York were the high points. And these things were just left on video. But they've got a following over the years.
Yeah.
But
when did you first start discovering these flicks? Like back when you were like at the VHS store or whatever? Or when did you start really?
I don't know.
You have quite the collection.
Yeah, I own a lot of them on VHS, but I think I very first discovered it when I was a little bit older in my 15, 16 years old, because I don't remember seeing any of these at even the box art at the video store when I was younger. Okay. It was mostly just buying lots on eBay, and eventually that's how I got all of them basically. Yeah. Missing a couple here and there. Awesome. But yeah, I can't even remember my first one, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I have no idea. I just know that when I saw it, I really noticed. I think actually 1990 Bronx Warriors was one of my first. Cool. And I didn't like that movie at the time, but I've grown to love it a little bit more.
Let's jump into talking about Scream Factory's Exterminator of the Year 3000 is in a second, and I'm sure we're going to branch off more from there because there's a lot to kind of unpack. But first, we need to jump into our Blu-ray announcements.
Do you like what you see?
I love what I see.
Would you like to touch what you see?
Yes, I would.
March 9th, Tales of Terror and the Raven come out from Arrow in the UK, is what I'm hearing. Last, and then of course Dark Hall from Scream. That's one of their contemporary releases. I don't really suggest it. Do you remember to the people that's listening? Do you remember Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Whenever Liu Kang did his animality, and it was like the worst video game graphics possible whenever they did that when he turned into a dragon. That's kind of what the monster looks like in this movie. It's very pixelated. And it's very, very weird looking.
Right. It's like they made it for a PlayStation 2 game, maybe.
PlayStation 2. Don't give them the credit for 2.
Okay,
there's some good graphics in 2. Don't Go Into the Woods by Vinegar Syndrome is out. The Fan by Mondo Macarbo. I always fuck that up. Late Faces, IFC, and then another Breakfast Club re-release, but it's not the director's cut again. So
wow, slipping in Breakfast Club into.
Well, I'm a big fan of Breakfast Club, and it's a 30-year anniversary or something.
I'm a big fan of Late Phases.
No, you're not.
Flick. Are you being sarcastic?
He hates it.
God
it's
damn
so bad. Sorry, I didn't
you.
interrupt. Sorry.
God damn you. We may have to have you on for that show. Oh wait, we're talking. Maybe not. Depending who we get on there.
Sean, you've been teasing that show for like 4 episodes now, so it better be good.
The Blu-ray is $9.99 on Amazon.
It just puts pressure on me more because
you better nail that shit down.
A lot of these things are falling through. We're trying, but people are busy.
What?
That's the thing that's the thing that sucks is that we have a few things that line up, but 1 week they can't do it, 1 week, and then we're like 3 months away. 3 months after, we're like, do we really want to cover the movie now? Like, it's not to be a dick. It's just that we want to. Our whole thing is to cover early, recent releases.
I remember you called me at work, and you're like, "Hey, so and so's ready to do it now." And I'm like, I'm 2 hours away from my house. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, timing's ridiculous, but we're trying. Is that it? It's kind of a.
That's it.
That's it. It's I think I was expecting more for some reason. I'm not sure.
That's because we always drag it out. I don't want to drag it out anymore.
Okay, let's jump into talking about Scream Factory's Exterminators of the Year 3000.
You think that other poor fool who went out with the tanker is going to get back? Well, he's not. He's a pile of bones in the desert.
And that's what you'll be if you don't talk.
Here's your water.
Have a good day, you turkey! All right, make haste, you mother grabbers. Mount thy steed. We'll follow their heading and we'll find the water.
So it's a movie.
It's definitely a movie.
It's directed by Giuliano
Here we go.
Giuliano
Jules Harrison.
Carmino. I think I got that
Jules
right.
Harrison. It's easier to say Jules Harrison.
Right. He under the name Jules Harrison, and I reckon I think all the Italian directors do this. I know that I just recently watched two of Bruno Mattei's last two zombie flicks, Zombies: The Beginning and Island of the Living Dead, and he's credited as some very American sounding name as well.
No,
in that flick.
well, I think they do that just to probably try to sell it. And I'm unaware of how people were. Maybe there was a thing where they saw a weird name that they couldn't pronounce and they stayed away from it.
It was the 80s, and
they just try to Americanize everything with the title and the director. I just think it's a weird thing because it's a very, very common thing. It's not like one director does it. I mean, everybody did it.
And I think especially all the Italian directors, I think did it from what I've been looking at. But
well, no, at some point that happened, like when it was making its way over here.
Yeah,
because this is obviously Italian produced, and Italians took over on this one, and I have no idea what the fuck they were doing.
It's especially strange when you think about like. The people renting or going, I mean, this didn't play theatrically, did it? Like, how did people watch this in 1983 in the USA, or 85, whenever it came out here?
I'm guessing either drive-in or it hit VHS.
Like, it's not like people who were deciding to go to see a film called Exterminators of the Year 3000 were looking at who directed it.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Like,
that's why it's so weird that they would just change their names. It still puzzles me. I never actually got an answer. I mean, but yeah.
Well, I think most of these movies too were very much using the poster art. I think more than a lot of other movies, to really, really sell the films, because the posters on most of these. I know the movie DEFCON 4, and I only know that movie because of the poster, the VHS art, because that is some awesome art. It's like some skeleton in a spacesuit. It's post-apocalyptic. And I remember I rented it once. I had my parent, we'd go to the VHS store. We'd be able to pick out a movie. Me and my dad were big into sci-fi, so I picked up that movie. And we got like 8 minutes into the film, and just nonchalantly, one of the women in the movie, if I remember, if this is the same movie, and I think it is, they're changing. She just takes off her shirt nonchalantly just to change. And I don't know how old I was, but my parents went, "Whoa, hold on!" And they stopped the movie.
Were you baiting?
Oh yes, fiercely. 7-year-old baiting. But they freaked out, turned the movie off, and I never got to see the rest of the movie. And it's been on my list to finally run. I think I just saw a special or a double feature with the Frogs.
Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Hell Comes to Frogtown. It's a double feature for like $7, so I may finally get it so I can finally watch this after so many years. After 30 years, Brad. 30 years.
30 years,
this movie's
Jesus.
haunted me. But all these posters
You're
are
37
awesome.
years old?
Yes. Exterminators of the Year 3000 poster is awesome. There's, everything is basically trying to recreate like a Mad Max.
Everything
poster.
is awesome but the movie. That's basically what it is.
Well, then it happens a lot with, especially, we were talking last week, Roger Corman, and other directors did that. They had the poster first, and the poster was usually awesome. And, painted poster trying to rip off these, everything. I mean, pretty much any VHS art in the 80s is pretty great. And I think there's a book coming out, actually, like a coffee table book.
Yeah, the dude designs is putting that together. The guy that does like Hobo with a Shotgun and
looks so good. Father's
Day posters.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's putting a VHS thing together.
I pre-ordered that shit right away. But like they had no other way to really sell the film than these posters. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, no, I mean, but the thing is that once this, I mean, even if word of mouth went around with this, I mean, it would definitely be put in the bargain bin very, very quickly. Because I mean, out of every like Italian Filipino apocalyptic movie, this is by far one of the most uneventful and kind of is very, very slow. I mean, even Warrior of the Lost World with Donald Pleasance and Robert McGinty from The Exterminator, that movie is overly bad, but it's so comical, and at least it keeps up that just the silliness constantly, so you're never ever bored. This one just is like a fucking roller coaster. Like, there's some really, really good moments, and then it just I don't know. You laugh most of the time because it's just the dubbing of the dialogue.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that got me, because you would snicker whenever he would say "mother grabbers," and that's like the only thing that I kept picking out. Like, I would laugh, but like everything else, like even what they were saying, like I guess it's very normal. Like the dialogue is just super bland.
When he said "mother grabbers," whatever, I was like, did somebody fuck up? Did somebody mess up the dubbing here? Because it's supposed to be motherfuckers. We all know it.
No, but he says "mother grabbers" all the time.
Yeah, that's the word.
Like it's just not once. He says "mother grabbers." Like, come on, you mother grabbers.
Yeah, it's like the main villain. The main villain. I mean, the basic
I think his name is Crazy Bull.
Yeah.
By the way,
Crazy Bull.
Which is, and that's another thing with these films, like Bronx Warriors, and everybody has. I think I pointed out that Christopher Conley in I just drew a blank. And was it Bronx Warriors that he's in? I always fucking forget. But anyways, he's in a movie and he plays his character's role as Hot Dog.
Yeah, that's Bronx Warriors.
Bronx Warriors. Yeah, they all have these like very like pipe and shadow and steel. And there's always a steel. But it's just odd that the transition when they're just like looking around at supplies like on set and picking their names from that. Like they're picking their names from a garbage dump, like just mass, I'll be sewer. That's what I'll be, and it's just like, it's just so weird. Because it's like a certain formula for these films, and every once in a while they'll go out of that element. But it's very, very rare that they do. So, but anyways,
I mean the basic plot on this one is a Mad Max type guy.
No. Just do this. Do the plot in one sentence, because it's very easy.
They find water, and the motorcycle gang wants the water too.
So basically, it's it's Road Warrior.
Exactly.
But instead of
gas, it's water.
It's just water. Like, that's the plot. Like, the meeting, that's what the meeting was. It's like, all right, so what we want to do is that we're just going to do the exact same thing Mad Max 2 did, and we're just going to replace it with water. And then everybody cheers, and they go out there and they film it on a Friday.
Totally.
One day.
They go to the local dump, and they find out, they get a couple cars running, and a few motorcycles running, and
Well, I think that's the worst part about this, is that they try to deck out the cars, but they just put like a piece of sheet metal on the side, like one piece, and that's like the reinforced. Because that's the one thing that sucks about this. Like New Barbarians, which is also known as Warriors of the Wasteland, is that those vehicles, they actually crafted, and they look like those aren't like they had those things running from scrap.
Yeah.
They put a motorcycle and there's this huge thing around it. Did you watch that one, Brian? Was the
Yeah. I was gonna say that, like, I hated Exterminators of the Year 3000, especially compared to like the New Barbarians, where it's of course budget's part of it, but it's very clear that they were trying when they made the New Barbarians, and nobody gave a shit when they were making Exterminators. Like,
I think Robert Iannucci, he's the main character, right? Plays Alien. Is that him?
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously is trying. He was like a Calvin Klein model, and he got cast. The
the quote unquote actors may have been trying, but nobody behind the scenes is trying.
Just like set design and everything is just really, really poor.
Yeah. What did you guys think of his car? Because he has some sort of shielding, right, that he pulls down and he can't see a fucking thing.
Well, he's got that camera though. He's got like a little camera that pops up.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and that's the thing. Like, does this really take place in the year 3000?
Yes.
It's mind-boggling. Like, who made the decision to jump ahead like 1,000 years, and they still have like a 1982 Buick running around? I mean, that's crazy.
It should have been Exterminators of the Year 2000.
It would have been fine.
I mean, even like the 2019 after the fall of New York, like that's even believable because it's been 30 years or 40 years and now we're at this point. But yeah, I agree with you. Like 3000, like it sounds catchy, but come on. But I don't think anybody was paying attention.
Was there an explanation? Because normally at these movies, and I can't remember. I know there were some sort of words that came up. Was there did they give an explanation on when the nuclear fallout happened? And
no, I don't think so.
Nothing.
No. I like that is, instead of actually showing like exposition, which would probably be better than the car chases, they simply put like 1 minute of fucking words in the beginning that you have to read explaining about how the events happen.
Right. I think I tuned out. I think I was making a drink.
It's like, oh man, that's really interesting. And then we just get, we're after this guy for fucking 30 minutes. We're going to chase him.
The beginning drags on and on.
But that's the thing is, like, we're supposed to have some epic car chase, but it's like everybody's going like 10 miles per hour. But I guess these Buicks, after 1,000 years, that's how fast
it's been a while, man. I remember the car chase is going on. I think I checked Twitter really quick, and I looked up, and it was still going on. And then I think what was going on when I was watching this movie, all the critics were blowing up about how much Chappie sucked. So I was kind of looking through that, and I looked up, and the car chase is still going on. So I kind of, go through Twitter a little more and, kind of see if
you really watch the movies.
And then, the car chase literally went on for the first at least 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, because then they stop and they talk, and then the car chase happens again. And then it continues. But but that's the thing is that, they didn't have a script. I imagine a lot of this is improvised,
I'd like to think.
Yeah. But, another thing is some of these actors are not even speaking English, and they have these American actors, and that's the best part about these films is that you have your American actors, you have your Italian, your Filipino guys, and you just throw them in a room together, one speaking clear English, the other one is just speaking their native language, and then we're dubbed over by some overbearing loud guy.
It's like one or two people are in charge of doing the full overdub of the movie.
But I just want to know how that actually pans out on set, because that's another reason why I don't think that these films, like, they have any chemistry. They don't have any character development because they're just on set and they're fucking awkward and nervous themselves. And I think that when they are on there, that a lot of that emits, and we just get to see a bunch of awkward shit.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it doesn't flow. And I'll bring up Raiders of Atlantis again, of course, is because the two characters in there are American and they have such good chemistry and they joke around and, they harp on each other constantly. And within 5 minutes of that movie, when they kidnap somebody, just Christopher Conley plays Mike and then the other guy plays Washington. Like, they're so good together. And from there on, we have those two characters that we follow through this whole entire movie, and we like them. With all these other films, aside from when Fred Williamson shows up, or George Eastman in some of these movies, George Eastman is like the king, and Fred Williamson are like the king of Italian Apocalyptic. Like, those are the actors they got. Like, George Eastman was in Bronx Warriors. He was in Warriors of the Wasteland. Like, he was in 2019. Endgame, Hands of Steel. He was in all that shit. And so, like, Fred Williamson was the same way. But they would pull these actors that, these directors they were familiar with, would pull these actors over and keep using them for everything. So if you actually watch all these movies, the cast keeps popping up. Even even the Italian actors, they keep showing. It's just that they're thrown into another role, even though they kind of play the same person. But I think a lot of that's lost when we watch these things because we do not care about anybody. Because they were supposed to care about the kid in Exterminators of the Year 3000.
Right, Mr. Robot Arm Kid.
Yeah, and
Spoiler.
We may get into spoilers on this episode, people, and I apologize.
I think the spoiler is actually on the cover because they actually show the robotic arm on the cover of the movie. But yeah, it's just like
that's supposed to be a boy?
Did you not watch the movie?
No, I did, but the cover looks like a chick. I don't know. I always thought that was a chick.
Were you aware of the movie, the kid getting his arm ripped off?
Well, yes, in the film, but I'm talking about the box art, the cover art. That is not a little boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a little boy.
I regret so much.
But was that a Box Trolls reference?
It was. It totally was.
It's the only funny part of that movie.
I've been on vacation with my kids for the past 3 days, and we've watched Box Trolls, I swear, 5 times at least in those past 3 days.
Yeah, that's the only funny part about that movie because it shows homosexuality. But yeah, we have this kid who gets his arm ripped off, and we almost like want to see him. Like when the motorcycles are up and they have the chains on both of his arms, you're just like, yes. Like, I want to see this kid get ripped apart. But we're not supposed to.
I was praying that it was going to be, like, a real arm.
Please, someone punish this child for being in this movie.
But, we're supposed to feel sorry for him, and we don't. Mainly because his name's Timmy. And Timmy has the robotic arm, and Timmy's got problems.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Like, is it Timmy or Tommy? I think it's Tommy, dude.
I think it's Timmy.
Consulting IMDb. Tommy.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Really? Who gives a...
I think I was lost in translation.
His name could be Jimmy for all I give a crap,
It could be Jimmy.
Is he supposed to be somebody's son? How is he connected to these characters?
What? Did you watch it?
Yeah, dude, he's the son. He was on his phone on Twitter.
I guess I may have tuned a few things out. I apologize.
Jesus Christ. Now, I know the movie's slow, but come on, Sean. Yeah, Timmy's the son, and that's the reason why he goes out is looking for his dad.
Gotcha. Now his dad is alien.
No.
Shit. I'm missing something.
Now I know why you want to cancel this episode. Because you didn't watch the fucking movie.
I did. It was midnight after I'd packed, so I was a little distracted and drunk.
Anyways, he just wants to be part of the team that looks for water.
Right.
And then he gets his arm ripped off. Alien finds him, has the guy reattach it. Then he has super arm. He becomes Rookie of the Year. I wish this would have turned into a baseball movie. Right, so it would have been way more entertaining.
Because he can throw things a million miles an hour and like take someone's head off.
Yeah, but see, they don't really utilize that in the movie at all, which would have been really, really cool. I mean, it happens,
right?
Because he picks up rocks and don't say right. You don't know what we're telling you.
No,
we'll
I do.
Explain the movie to you.
There's a few plot points I missed because I was freaking arguing with people about Trash and Neil Blomkamp, but that's okay.
Oh God, Sean, you and your sci-fi. You should love this shit then. But there's so many like cool things they could have used and expanded on this and made kind of a kick-ass, because you already have the sets, you have the actors, you have the weapons. Fucking put them at war. But there's so much drama that sets in this movie, and then this is the one apocalyptic movie that has so much goddamn drama in it that doesn't have enough action. And when it does car chases, like it's like a wide, like the car chases, they use like a wide lens.
Yeah.
So we see all this like vast desert with a car going in a circle. Like
at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it's like, oh God, like zoom in something, make this more intense, make it seem like it's going faster, like get out and chase the car, Jesus, But it is so much drama in this movie, and poor little Tommy, is that his shit? Whatever, I don't know. But yeah, it's just in being a standalone release. Originally, this was supposed to be paired with Cruel Jaws, but then they had the bright idea to put it by itself, which is cool. Like, I'm totally fine. I never thought I'd be holding a standalone Blu-ray of Exterminators of the Year 3000. But
it's a bummer. It's not. It is a bummer. It's not a double feature with Cruel Jaws for sure.
Or anything, really. Because, I mean, you gotta sell this movie, because this movie has a, it was funny whenever they announced it, because all the fanboys, there's this tendency for people, as soon as a movie's released on Blu-ray, it becomes awesome or something. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's so good. And it's like, dude, have you seen the fucking movie? Like, it's cool that it's on Blu-ray, no doubt. I've seen the poster. But this movie is not good. Like, I hate when it becomes all of a sudden a cult classic, quote unquote, whenever it's put on Blu-ray, and that's not the case. And it was like, no one's bad-mouthing this movie, but as soon as they watch it, then everybody's like, oh, this thing's a piece of shit. It's like, it's always been like that. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's cool that it's on Blu-ray, but I mean, if you had the DVD back in the day, this is exactly what it is. It's just the DVD all over again. Like in 2.0 mono track. Yeah. I'm and you could barely hear anything.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
That's just my
this would have benefited with some double feature action with another Italian flick of some sort or something. And it's you can tell that Scream Factory is kind of on some sort of, they need to hit their deadlines, right? They got to get it in and get it created, get everything out the door, but it's like they delay so many movies, and this is the one that they stuck to the deadline, which is hilarious. Because like this definitely, they have all these like animal attack type movies coming out, in double features. I wish that they would have kind of took this one back, held out for, Raiders of Atlantis, something else that they could pair this with, something that would make it kind of worthwhile. But as it stands itself, 15, even at $15 is still kind of a, kind of a tough sell. But you're right.
This thing needs to be $8.99. But for real.
But the funny thing is, there's still so much to talk about with this movie. We'll take a side.
If you've seen it,
I have. I do want to get into a couple more things, but speaking of like the video quality, that so many people are, like you said, they're saying, "Oh, this movie's so awesome! This movie's so great, cult classic." And now you have the people taking out their white gloves and looking at the video transfer and screaming at Scream Factory, no pun intended, that the transfer's they're not pristine enough for them, for this film. And it's like, really, do you guys have anything better to do with your lives than to like take some Z-level Italian flick that, has been relegated? Was this on DVD somewhere? No, you said Code Red did the DVD of this, right?
Yeah.
It was on DVD. The DVD was okay, and now you guys are doing the white glove treatment to this transfer? It's like, really? And it blows my mind that people care that much. And
way more than the filmmakers.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this looked exactly like I imagined it would look. I didn't have any high hopes that this would look, like Ridley Scott's Alien on Blu-ray, and anything like that. Like this looks exactly.
It's gonna look shitty because I imagine the film elements, since this movie's fucking lost.
Yeah,
this movie's definitely by far, I would say, in public domain. I haven't researched that, but I mean, fucking Code Red and Scream puts it out, and also there's no label for any company on the back of this.
No.
So I believe this movie's in public domain, and they just pulled whatever is out there as an HD master and slapped it on there. I think it's another reason why they put it out so quick.
Yeah,
was because there was no point. And the same thing with Cruel Jaws. They probably came across a couple HD masters, a public domain thing, and make a quick buck, but they didn't. They backed out of Cruel Jaws because it actually uses footage from Jaws. Even
smart on their part, I guess.
Well, Italian ripoff, double pack. I mean, there's plenty that it could have been paired with, but I don't know what has rights and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine anybody wanting to stand behind the rights of this movie. Like, this is just one thing, the rights are up, and they're like, okay, fuck it. Just let it go. Like, we're not gonna spend the time, money, or paperwork to continue to hold on to this movie.
I mean, part of me is glad that it's out there, but I want to get back to the movie, and I was wondering when this happened, like when they, spoiler alert, everybody, when they find the water, and it's like in all these movies where water is scarce, any movie I see where water is scarce, what's the first thing people do when they discover this scarce water, this water that shouldn't be there? They dunk their heads into it. They're all of a sudden they're just swimming in it, jumping in it, spitting it out, putting it, like contaminating the freaking water source. It's like the first thing everyone does.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because you said you didn't watch Rats on that double pack. Rats do the same thing. Like it's the apocalypse. There's a group of people searching the city. They're going and they're contamination is going around. Everything's fucking diseased. So, they get out and they're like, okay, the air's all right. And they're searching and then they go in this warehouse, right? And there's just like a cache of food. All right. And it's all sealed up. And what they do is they run to it and they start ripping everything open and just pouring it on themselves. At one point, the lead guy, he and it's all dubbed, so it's hilarious. He picks up this big thing of flour and he goes, "Flour! It's flour!" And he opens it up and he starts dumping it on everybody.
Oh my God.
And they all start cheering. And I'm like, wow, what the fuck are you doing? How does that make any sense whatsoever? But you're right. It's like the first thing they do is they lose control. And they just go completely berserk.
I'm surprised they didn't just get naked and start fucking in the middle of the water.
Whoa.
Might as well have done that.
Whoa.
That's the rum talking, everyone.
I thought you were on the Fireball.
I did post a picture on Twitter. I had a Fireball shot and a double Bacardi Limon and Coke.
Jeez.
Boom.
Well, since Sean is drinking, I'll let you drink. But
I've drained it. I may need to go make another drink. Talk so much yourself. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's okay.
That's just how important the movie is.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna go grab a drink while we bullshit about this movie.
You don't want to miss anything on this one. But one thing I thought was funny is that I'm a big Lucio Fulci fan, and this movie's written by Fulci's right-hand man, which his name's Sciassetti or something like that. I mean, he's wrote Demons and Manhattan Baby and The Demons 2, Body Count, basically anything Fulci did when Fulci got out of the Western things, House by the Cemetery, The Beyond. He's done all that. He's, one of the most known Italian writers there is with this weird shit. And the screenplay sucks. It really does. I understand the screenplays of all that other stuff isn't great, but this one's just so bland. Just hearing them speak to each other. But that's one thing I want to bring up is that were they actually following a script or was it an idea?
It's probably more. More of an idea.
How much of this actually is improv on this? Because that to me, with this movie alone, that's what it feels like a lot. Is that they're just going? It's like a 8 Million Ways to Die. Have you ever seen that? Hal Ashby threw away Oliver Stone's script and made everybody improvise on cue. And so there's these really, really awkward, pairings of the actors just kind of bickering back and forth. And I think that's a lot of uses of the dub. The dubbing that came in is they would just take all that shit out and then have somebody else just do it. So I think even with some of the American actors, if you notice, the dubbing is actually over them as well in this movie. And I mean, I have no proof of that whatsoever. But did you notice that? Sean, I know you didn't notice it because you were looking at Twitter.
Sorry, I was making a drink. What was that?
But Brian, did you notice that a lot of the American actors have dubbing as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in these, it's all dubbing, regardless of American or Italian actors. I think because of the cost, because none of these productions recorded any sound on set. So, they would just do it all in ADR after. And wouldn't always use even if they could speak English, wouldn't use the actors that were, actually acted in the movies just because it was cheaper to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I guess there's some things that are really, really paired up nicely when they did the ADR, but yeah, I guess that's another thing is that's why there's no connection with the characters, is that I think the ADR thing takes you out a lot because you can't help but snicker and laugh. And when you do that, I think you have that sense of you're actually watching a movie now and you're having fun with it rather than trying to take it seriously. And I think that's another reason why Italian cinema is kind of frowned upon, is because no one can relate or connect with it. Because there's too many moments where there's screw ups. And I think that totally takes people out of the movie.
Yeah, it just feels inhuman. Like none of the characters feel real. Like even in the better movies, even in Giallo, it's
it's the same thing. Yeah,
it's the same. It's just like I can appreciate some of them, and I can enjoy watching some of them, but they don't even come close to like hitting me on any emotional level whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, you're tweeting right now.
Yep.
By the way.
I'm.
So not only were you not paying attention to
sorry,
the
what was that, guys?
movie, you just totally ignored what our
saying?
guest just said, and he actually made a really good point.
No, I'm totally listening. I was about to bring something else up as well. Like whenever I would try to discover more of these types of movies, like even like with like the more like Italian horror and stuff like that, like Nightmare City and most Fulci things like Demons is a good example, because when I first saw Demons, I wasn't sure if it was originally filmed in Italian or English, or both, and you can tell that everything's been dubbed afterwards, and it does kind of take you out, I think, emotionally from the characters, I guess, and it happened a lot during the 80s, but I don't know, like sometimes I just don't know, I'm like, well, am I watching just the English dubbed version,
No, I think a big part of that was like with Demons. Demons is just all about fun. I mean, there's no characters. I'm mostly talking like what Brian was saying is that some of these giallos and some of the serious notes when they try to insert drama into these movies, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And therefore, it just kind of gets tedious and boring. Just because there's no reason to connect because we're not feeling anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a shame, especially I think that's one of Fulci's biggest downfalls, is that I think he's a wonderful director setting up his films, the way they look, how he handles everything. The problem is that dubbing and the dialogue that comes into play afterwards ruins a big portion of his movies because they're hard. Are you fucking drinking again? I'm hearing glasses.
That wasn't me. I think Brian's decided to start drinking.
But,
sorry.
I think, but I think that's a big part of it, and I that's why I feel bad in a way, because I think that's the downfall of a lot of these directors, and it really, really does suck, because they all went independent, it seems, and they all had to do the same thing. They all had to take shortcuts. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm
still a fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Exterminators of the Year 3000 is, it's kind of cool that it's out on Blu-ray. It's a good, I don't know if it's a good introduction to these films, because
no.
And that's the thing, like, we're starting to see kind of an onslaught of these Italian flicks coming over. I mean, I know that 88 Films just announced that they're going to be doing a full-on series of Italian genre flicks.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to be a little bit smarter about it, because the first things they're releasing is the Night Train Murders, which is, it was originally called like Last House on the Left Part 2. It basically pulls from the story of the Virgin Spring in that movie from, I think it was the 50s, which of course, Craven and Cunningham pulled from that as well and made it Last House on the Left. And it follows the same thing. It's very uncomfortable. There's rape, there's revenge. And they're doing Blast Fighter, which is amazing. That's a fun movie. There's a guy has a shotgun, and his shotgun can basically shoot anything. He has like a suitcase full of like rockets and different types of ammunition, and there's a really weird, very uncomfortable chemistry between him and his daughter that is borderline incest half the time.
Oh God.
That gets pretty funny, but I think we will see more of them. I just don't want to see the bad ones. I would like for them to focus a lot on because there's a lot of fun, cool 80s and 70s and 80s action Italian cinema. There really is, and we have Raro doing kind of the more abstract and more well-made movies.
Yep.
And then you have Blue Underground and other people doing kind of the trashy films. Because even Blue Underground released because the director of Exterminators 3000 has done 2 major giallos in his life that were very, very popular. So he's worked with, of course, I don't think the director's around anymore. Is he? Probably not. He wasn't interviewed for this, was he? Was there any special features on this?
There was like a little kind of documentary where they actually interview Robert Iannucci. And the guy looks like he's been selling vacuum cleaners for the past 20 years. He started out as a Calvin Klein model. That's how he got the gig. I don't think he's really done anything since. He did a TV show in 2000, but he looks like he's just
Whoa.
He looks like he's
an
just
episode or like
an episode,
series?
an episode. He looks like he's just excited to even be interviewed. About this movie.
Brad, you
he doesn't look familiar at all.
Brad, you brought up an interesting point about the director, and I noticed that according to IMDb, he's still alive. And as I was, clicking through the trail of Italian garbage on IMDb, looking at all the directors whose none of whose names I can remember because it's all like it all looks like nonsense to me.
You're saying they all look the same?
But,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
It's mostly all vowels.
Wow.
But anyways, I was noticing that like all of them are reported as being still alive. Like there's hardly any death dates for any of these directors, even if like they were born in the 30s and 20s. And I'm wondering if they're still alive or if just nobody has like bothered to report their death. Which is really sad.
Or they're all the same guy.
Maybe
because they're all still alive.
Maybe they use maybe Exterminators of the Year 3000. Maybe this director was telling us something. Maybe he lives on.
Maybe he's seen it. Yeah, he's seen the Year 3000.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, maybe he's older than we think.
Could be.
But they didn't do anything with the director on this one because I don't know if that guy's alive or dead, and I don't know of anything he's done recently, at least.
I mean, it's pretty bare bones. I'm glad that Scream Factory dropped the price down to at least $15. Like you're right, Brad. This $8.99. I mean, if you're trying to build
Dark Angel's at $8.99, and that movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, but this is just out. It'll drop.
Talk about
guaranteed. Guaranteed, this will drop within the next few weeks down to $8.99. But it's did
you just guarantee that?
I guarantee it.
Whoa.
There is an audio commentary that I did not check out with good old Robert Iannucci. So they got plenty of. I mean,
the greatest day of his life, probably. Exactly. That commentary. Like what was going through his mind. It actually would probably that's something I didn't know that there was any special features on it because it didn't seem like it would. But I think that might be actually a really good one to listen to because maybe he'll explain some of the problems and the history of these films, especially in 1983 because there was 10 of them that were released. Yeah. What was happening and how fast this production was moving.
Yeah, I was hoping to check it out, but I didn't.
You didn't check it out?
I was hoping to, but I was leaving on vacation, man. I mean,
Well, you basically didn't even watch the movie, so that makes sense. But the only director that really came out of this doing these films was Enzo Castellari, who I believe is still alive, because I think he has a sequel of one of his movies coming out. But he's kind of a more prolific Italian director. His movie, like you said, he tries really, really hard. And there's that trilogy, the Bronx Warriors trilogy, basically, that all those films are really, really decent. And they're very, very fun. There's no, downtime to those, especially when you have George Eastman and Fred Williamson in the same room together.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's pretty much gold.
Yeah.
Do you say so, Sean? Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen him, but I think so.
You're drunk. You're just learning your words.
I totally am. What I want to do is what I'd like to do, since Blue Underground is going to be releasing those 3 films within the next few months. So Brad, I would like to, if you have it available or can pull it out of your ass, is there movies that people should try to track down before they check out these the Bronx Warriors flicks? Before, like, leading up to them, like
Exterminator Year 3000 is a really good one.
No, is there something? I mean, because I feel like this year a lot of these Italian genre flicks are finally getting their due on Blu-ray. Whether that's whether they're all good or not, I don't know. But I feel like with 88 films, with Blue Underground, I mean, Blue Underground has done a lot of spaghetti westerns in the past. They've had a handful.
Well, they've done a lot of the Italian genre.
Yeah, the
films.
zombie flicks.
I don't know. A lot of like I said, the cream of the crop is definitely Enzo Castellari's films, New Barbarians, Bronx Warriors 1 and 2. That are coming out from Blue Underground. Highly check those because they're well made. The production values are really great. And just all around a good time, great miniature sets. And that's another thing that these films used a lot when they wanted to, because they didn't film in the US. So they basically recreated everything as miniatures. But they actually look really, really good. There's actually, I think it's New Barbarians. You watched that recently, Brian. The beginning of that actually is shows something crashing down, right, and kind of blowing up the miniatures.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like opening credits, it shows an asteroid or something hitting, but it's like a model or something. It's hard to tell what they were doing, but it's very interesting, the special effects that movie starts out with. Although I don't know if there are any special effects. Actually, there's some really good gore in that movie. Some good headshots and things like that. There's another thing that Exterminators was missing. There was no gore, hardly any violence really. Another reason why it was a complete failure.
Exactly.
Yeah, New Barbarians start. They have that. They have all those weapons on the vehicles that are really cool. Like they have the one thing that spins around to chop people's heads off.
Yeah, totally.
And then they could just drive by, and the one guy, if I remember correctly, has a spear on the front of his car.
It's like a drill, yeah.
Yeah, he'll drill, and then a flamethrower pops out, and he'll burn you. That shit's cool, man. That's a lot of fun, and they use those vehicles constantly through the movie, and that's what these movies need in order, because they're not working with much of a script. They're not working with great actors, and obviously the script is so probably jumbled because you have probably a script written in Italian and probably a translator on set, basically kind of how probably Troll 2 happened, if you know the backstory of that. It was two directors that didn't speak English that were giving American actors direction. And I think a lot of that probably went over with these films. I know Enzo Castellari speaks English, so that's probably why those films worked out a little bit better. Even stuff like Inglourious Basterds, Bo Sevson and Fred Williamson. Those films just flow. So definitely check those out on Blue Underground. The ones that I would definitely pick out is
you tweeted out a picture, man, of your VHS.
Oh, yeah. Well, not all those are good. I'm proud to have them. But, Savage Dawn I don't know if you would really consider that one so much of kind of like apocalyptic. I mean, it has that Mad Max apocalyptic feel. That was like 1985, but the cast of that movie, I mean, there's Karen Black, Lance Hendrickson, George Kennedy's in there. God, who else? Brian, you watched that with me, because you borrowed the VHS for a while from me.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's like William Forsythe's in it. It's got a great
it's good,
cast.
Yeah,
and basically it's a motorcycle gang, but it's very much like feels like the apocalypse, kind of like even Never Too Young to Die, the John Stamos movie. Like, he's a gymnast in college, but then on the side when he meets Ragnar, it becomes all apocalyptic. They have like a Thunderdome and shit in that movie, and you have no idea where it comes from. And I think a lot of those films borrow that, where they want to make it apocalyptic, so they like throw in that kind of shit. But Savage Dawn, I would say. There's another one. Well, just say Raiders of Atlantis for sure. I've mentioned that countless times.
It's
what's
not
that?
really,
what's that
it's
again,
not really
Red?
Post-apocalyptic though.
What's that title again? Raiders of what? Raiders of?
Yeah, it's not post-apocalyptic. The apocalypse is kind of happening as they basically Atlantis rises from the depths, and then people go ape shit and start dressing like they're in Mad Max.
That's like 20 minutes of the movie, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is that that movie flows again because of the actors and keeping it up. I don't really find that movie boring. I just like watching them jab and make fun of each other. There's another one called World Gone Wild that I really like. It's basically about water again. But that movie has like Michael Paré, Catherine Mary Stewart, and Bruce Dern. Like that's actually a really, really fun one too. It's more or less, I think it's rated R, but it seems like a family movie in a way at times. But yeah, it's that movie's set like way in the 2000s. But that's a fun one. I think it's because of the cast mostly. It's definitely American made. So I guess that's where I'm going with this, because those films are a lot better. But as far as like Italian trash, Endgame is pretty fun. There's one called Interzone it's been on Netflix for a long time, and that was like 1981, I think, maybe 87, probably 87, I think. But that's something to check out. The one that I mentioned earlier, Warrior of the Lost World, is absolutely terrible. But it's one of those things that you just need to see it. Robert McGinty is on the run, and he has this motorcycle, and basically they pull the stuff from Knight Rider, like that. The Kit was Kit the car that spoke.
Yes.
Is that Knight Rider, the
yes.
talking car? Well, anyways, he has a motorcycle, but it does a high pitched computer voice, but it will like say the most ridiculous things to him. Like if it sees bad guys, it will go geek, 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 asshole, 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 stuff like that.
Does it seriously say asshole? Does it say?
Yeah. No. It says a bunch of like dickhead, but it's in that high pitched voice. And he's on the run and everything, and there's like this whole like reincarnation aspect a little bit to it. It's very, very weird. But Robert McGinty does the voiceover in the beginning, not speaking to you, but it sounds like a voiceover, but it's just ADR. But it's very bizarre, like because it's so loud, like all the sound like dims down and you can just hear him, but he's apparently talking to the computer, but you think he's talking to you. It's very, very weird how it's said, but the movie's terrible. Like it's so fucked up and it's just a bad movie all around, but it's very, very enjoyable. But yeah, that's about it, man. Like for real, there's not a lot. There's one called Aftermath that Steve Barkett did. It's very, Steve Barkett's like huge into sci-fi. I think you would actually enjoy that one, Sean. but it's called The Aftermath, not Aftermath by the nacho guy that has the rape with his corpse. You remember that one, Brian?
Oh yeah.
No, I mean there's a movie where a guy basically is a mortician and he rapes a dead body for like an hour.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah,
Well, it's only 30 minutes long, but
oh, it is. It seems like it's forever though. Jesus, that movie just doesn't end. But yeah, Steve Barkett is kind of a well-known sci-fi geek, and he directed a few movies, and he had a movie Lost for a long time called Empire of the Dark. And VCI actually just put the aftermath and that together on a set last year before. But those are Sid Haig is one of the he plays Cutter, he plays one of the villains in it, and that's definitely one to check out. And I mentioned to you guys Battle Truck with Michael Beck,
that's
who
a good
plays Swan from the Warriors. That movie's a lot of fun too. And I posted a picture that I didn't notice it until just today. I pulled out my VHS of Stryker, which is another post-apocalyptic, and it has the fucking poster for Battle Truck on it. They just slapped Stryker across where it says Battle Truck, and there you go. That's your. That's what these movies did. And someone actually tweeted me earlier. They posted a Strike Commando uses kind of the same position with their grenade launcher M16 gun, the same way Raiders of Atlantis does. But I don't know. All those movies rip off. I mean, a lot of movies are rip-offs anyway, but these were pretty hardcore.
Are you sure Stryker isn't Battle Truck, just a different name?
I'm pretty sure, because
that's hilarious. That I'm looking at it now, man. That poster is the Battle Truck poster.
Yeah, no, Michael Beck is not in Stryker, so.
Wow. Battle Truck, definitely. I can second that. That's worth checking out. That's one of the first kind of Italian, I guess, post-apocalyptic flicks that I checked out, because it came on a double feature with, I can't remember the other flick, but anyway, Shout Factory was doing a bunch of Roger Corman-themed collection, which I tried to buy most of them, and Battle Truck's awesome. I watched both of those quite a while ago, but yeah. But
then it's another Battle Truck is another American-made, film, and that's the reason why it flows so well together.
America number one.
America.
But yeah, I mean, it's something risky to dive into. I mean, you have to like trash in order to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You have to like that Italian trash horror stuff too. I mean, there's something in there that's definitely fun for most people. Like I said, for me, it's mostly the costume designs, production sets, and not so much the dialogue, actors, or script, because you're not going to get anything.
My wife and I always get in kind of arguments, or not arguments, but she doesn't understand the.
You punch her?
No, she doesn't understand the because I don't believe in so bad it's good, because people will obviously a lot of times bring that up, the movie's so bad it's so good, but I find movies that I know,
you say that all the time.
I know they're bad. I know this movie's bad, but I'm enjoying it for some reain. You
either like a movie or you don't. It's what I always say. Yeah. If you enjoy those types of things, then you like the movie.
Yeah.
You don't need to make excuses for it. It is what it is.
Right. Well, you give me shit for liking certain things, which is fine.
That's because you like Studio Giblets and stuff.
I mean, but I think a lot of people can. There's a lot of people
because you'll sit there and you'll tell me how good fucking Transformers 4 is, and I'm not gonna believe you because I'm literally not gonna take the time to watch that.
But dude, I grew up with Transformers, man, and so seeing them but that's the thing. I think everyone takes different things from different movies. Yes, the Michael Bay Transformers movies are pretty much 75% shit. But they 75. They have some great special effects. Sean. Dude, they bring back Peter Cullen to do Optimus Prime. I mean, come on.
But that doesn't make a movie good.
No, but no, not at all. But there's things that I
the same
enjoy
thing as
about
George
him.
Eastman's a great actor, but when they put him in these post-apocalyptic movies, he sucks.
Well, yeah, but I think everyone has certain things that they'll glean from a movie and enjoy certain aspects, and agree that maybe most of the movie's crap, but hey, I enjoyed this one aspect of it enough to to like it, to enjoy it, to want to watch it more than once. But there's certain movies, you watch it one time, you give it a chance, you watch it and you're done because 100% the movie's just crap across the board.
I will say I will never ever probably ever watch Exterminators of the Year 3000 again. Unless I do like an article or write a book about Italian cinema.
Yeah, I would watch 1983's.
I just saw what you tweeted. That's hilarious.
I would watch.
Next time.
I would watch 1983's Space Hunter before I watch Exterminators of the Year 3000.
You've been fucking pitching Space Hunter since you got a screener.
Dude, Michael Ironside, man, as a cyborg, they can't they put Michael Ironside.
You're becoming a fanboy. Like whenever you get something, you're like, I got it for free.
No.
It's gotta be good.
No, dude, Space Hunter's not good.
Space Hunter sucked from the beginning.
But no, here we go. Here's what I like about it. Okay, they put Michael Ironside in this like cyborg costume.
No, trust me, dude. We've heard this on the podcast.
They take away the use of his
our
legs.
listeners will come back and say, "Sean, you."
I haven't talked about
story.
Space Hunter. I wrote it.
Yes, you have.
I wrote it. Anyway,
no.
But dude, it's hilarious that they have basically Michael Ironside on a gimbal the whole movie, moving back and forth, and he's hamming it up. He doesn't give a shit. He hams it up like 1,000%.
Like you would on Coffee Shop of Horrors.
Dude, I haven't brought up Coffee Shop of Horrors at all.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Like I said, contracts have not been signed. Nothing has, emails have been sent and nothing has happened. And I know you listen, Minion, who runs the Twitter of Coffee Shop of Horrors.
How about
Make
if
it happen.
how about if I just sing the theme song?
Because I drink that shit every day. No, we need to move along. So.
Next topic.
What are we talking about again? Space Hunter, right?
We're going to talk about
Exterminators of the Year 3000. Let's move into our picks of the week.
Raiders of Atlantis. The theme song is by a band called Oliver Onions, and I think it's one of the funniest things ever. And if you're a big fan of Raiders of Atlantis, yes, the theme song to Raiders of Atlantis is on Spotify, which is shocking to me too, but it is. But anyways, picks of the week. Go.
Are we ready? Are we done? I think we're done. I know I want to jump into those Blue Underground flicks when they come out, and I think we're going to do a show on those. So I'm hoping we, in a weird way, left some sort of...
If you watch them.
I will watch them. I'm sure they'll hold my attention more than Exterminators of the Year 3000. And unfortunately, we're not covering a second movie because Exterminators of the Year 3000 takes up all the space I have to put in the link. So, the title of the podcast. So, there's no more room. We can't cover another movie.
Oh my God. Picks of the week. Go, Brian.
Picks of the week. Let's go. We going right to Brian?
He's the guest. He should have first tips.
Okay, well, first explain again what Picks of the Week is. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page.
We're going to highlight a Blu-ray or DVD of some sort that we have not covered.
No, it's not about that we covered. It's just something that's
flick
old
that,
that you want to pimp out.
Okay, this is good.
You think people need to see.
A flick that has been overlooked that you want to give a massive blowjob to.
Okay, no, that is quite literally what I want to do to this one, so it's perfect. So a couple years ago, Brad and I were doing a project where we were watching like all the sex comedies we can find from mostly the 80s. We may have hit up a couple in the 70s, but mostly the 80s.
Yeah.
And of course, 99% of them are unwatchable. They don't even have any TNA. They're just like complete waste of time. But we found a couple that were really good and are watchable even for reasons above and beyond boobs. And one of those miraculously was released by Scorpion. I think it was like almost 2 years ago now. I think it was like 2013.
Yeah.
The Beach Girls.
Yeah.
And actually, oh my God, I just looked it up on Amazon and it looks like it might be out of print now, which is
all Scorpion titles are out of print basically.
Oh my God, it's a tragedy. But anyways,
it's available on DVD for sure.
Okay.
I do know that. Yeah.
Okay. But The Beach Girls is, it's a pretty basic setup for a sex comedy. I don't know what age, I can't remember if they're teenagers or college or whatever, but they're a group of girls are going to one of their uncle's beach house for a weekend.
The uncle.
And they're just going to party, blow it out, and they end up, having huge parties. The uncle shows up at one point. But for whatever reason, there's like a genuine sense of fun, and the performances are all really good. And it seems like a real movie. And it also has, like, it's weird to say this about one of these movies, but it's like sexy, which is completely unheard of for these movies that are mostly just like plastic people and like generic boob shots. But it's really unique. And I was kind of shocked when we, discovered it, I guess. I was shocked that I hadn't heard of it before, and I don't even think Brad had heard of it, because it's really good.
It was the first time for me too.
And
then we found it on Blu-ray, and we're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
like,
we were
seriously.
I could not believe that it was on Blu-ray. And the director I've never heard of. I don't think he did anything else. Pat Townsend. But yeah, that's definitely my pick of the week. Unfortunately, the Blu-ray looks like it's out of print. You can pick it up for $35 on Amazon. Although I'm sure Sean's clicking to put it in his cart right now. So
I bought it already, man.
Oh, really?
I told him about it a while ago.
Once they started going out of print, like I feel like Brad's my he's my OOP pager.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll text me, dude, these are going out of print, and I snagged that right away for sure.
Yeah, and it's good because even on Amazon, there's 7 reviews for it, and it has 5 stars. For a movie like this, that's incredible. So if you can find it, if you have to illegally download it, I'd say go ahead and do it.
Whoa.
Well, it's hard to find.
I guess it's out of print. So
if it's out of print, it's hard to find. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's.
I think it had a DVD. I think maybe Grindhouse Releasing did a DVD of it back in the day.
Right, but it's delayed. So
what?
Isn't it delayed? They keep delaying it every month for the past 2 years.
Is that a joke?
That's a joke.
Oh.
That's a failed joke right there.
Yeah, that's a dad joke.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's available on DVD. It's out of print as well, but it's only $20, and you get Coach with it, which Coach is pretty fun too.
Nice.
So. Oh, here it's actually sweet. If you it's actually on the Too Cool for School collection. It's a batch of sex comedies that Mill Creek put together, and the movies that are on there are actually all Scorpion titles. That
nice.
It's Pom Pom Girls, Tomboy, Beach Girls, and My Tutor were all released by Scorpion Releasing. But yeah, it's all on there, and all those films are actually really, really fun. Other than Cave Girl.
Yeah,
Cave
Tomboy's
Girl
really good too. That was another one we watched that we were surprised at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if you pick up that Too Cool for School collection, it's $20 on Amazon, but I believe if you go to Hamilton Books, it's like $4.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
if I had a job right now, I would definitely be buying that.
Yeah. So it's a good set. My Tutor is really good. Jocks. Yeah, all that stuff is. So I would definitely pick that up, and you get Beach Girls. You might not get HD transfer, but
yeah, if you're a white glove motherfucker, I guess skip it.
Sean, damn. John, why don't you do your pick so I can white glove it?
Me? Yeah. My pick.
Pick it apart.
I kind of kept. I was going between 2 movies. I'm gonna kind of do a honorable mention. My honorable mention is Automata, 2014 with Antonio Banderas, because I got to thinking Chappie's out this last weekend or whatever, and it's about a robot or whatever, and I think Automata did a great thing where they use like real robotics in the film, and it looks really cool. And it's a hit or miss kind of post-apocalyptic movie. Like, I mean, it can also it can maybe exist in the same world as Blade Runner. You definitely get the feel that the director is inspired by Blade Runner and movies like District 9 and things like that. But I really dug the flick and kind of how they treated AI in the movie. And Antonio Banderas is pretty good. So I think the Blu-ray is like pretty cheap, and I would definitely say give it a watch. I think it's actually on Netflix Instant. So if you're looking for more of like a post-apocalyptic kind of a robotics oriented movie, I feel like it's worth a watch. So it got some shit on when it was released, but I think for what it is, it does
Fantastic Fest.
I think for what it is, if you're a hard sci-fi fan, I think there's a lot to like. So that's my honorable mention. But the movie I picked this week, I wanted to kind of keep in with the post-apocalyptic, so I chose Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson in The Rover. And I think
a good movie.
It's a badass post-apocalyptic flick that, for me, I was wondering where the heck this would go from the start, because it's a lean, mean, gritty film, and Guy Pearce is trying to track some individuals down. I don't want to get. I say go into this movie 100%, blind, but he wants to track these guys down, and he'll do whatever it takes to get back what was stolen. And I don't know. It's just gritty. It's dark. It's mean. And Guy Pearce is great. Robert Pattinson turns in a great performance here. I think he gets a lot of shit for appearing in the Twilight films, but I think he's legitimately like a great actor, and definitely
great.
No, I think he is. I think he got typecast in this bullshit Twilight stuff, but I think he's an actor that, like, if he sheds this Twilight thing quick, I think he can really, make a mark. But
in his shorts.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth checking out. I think that this Blu-ray is pretty cheap as well, and this is one of those that's probably going to end up on Netflix streaming very soon, if it's not there already. So that's The Rover, directed by David Michôd. What an unfortunate name.
Michôd.
Yeah, exactly. Machad. Well, I'll say
All
Machad.
Right, you're done.
To distance us from Chode.
Brad, what's your pick?
My pick would be this was released by Echo Bridge.
Whoa.
I know it sounds funny when I say Echo Bridge, but it was one of those Miramax Best Buy only titles. Apparently it's out of print, but you can still pick it up really, really, really cheap. But it's called The Nameless. It's directed by Jaume Balaguergo, who did the REC films, Sleep Tight, and that type. It was his first film in like '99. It is these parents, they are missing their child. They get all the evidence is basically removed from the body from this dead girl, completely mutilated. All they can do is I think there's like a necklace that I'm sorry, it's a bracelet. And something about it, her, like the way that her legs are, I think one's a little bit longer than the other, and that's how they identify the body, but they're not sure. And years later, the woman receives a phone call from this girl saying it's their daughter, and this man comes on. He says, if you don't do these certain things, we're going to kill your daughter. So she has to go through all these obstacles in order to find out if this is true or not. And it turns out to be pretty fucking scary. Like, it's very, very dark and very gritty. I know you just said that about The Rover, but this is, I don't consider The Rover dark and gritty.
Is it as scary as Late Phases?
But see, that's the thing, is Sean was scared shitless in Late Phases.
No, it wasn't.
But the Nameless, because it's very brutal, because it has to deal with children, and when you find out what the Nameless is, it's very, very haunting. So it's definitely something to pick out. This director has definitely made a name for himself with the REC films, of course Sleep Tight, and I know Callista Flockhart is in the Fragile, but that's actually a really, really good movie too. And the thing is with sometimes Spanish films, they always want to be family and happy oriented during kind of the terror, and this one doesn't go that route. I'll let you know right now. It's not a spoiler, but this one, because I know that's a lot of turnoff for people, is that that's a turnoff for me, is because I always have a tough time getting into those movies because I know that we are going to go down kind of like, it's always when it's a ghost story, it's like, oh, let's make the ghost happy. Now
it's always like the misunderstood ghost.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is what it needed, or this is what we need to do, and it's like, come on, like that takes all the terror out of the movie on the rewatch. And it has no rewatchable value. Well, this one's fucking dark, and it definitely goes places that you don't think it's going to go, and it kind of leaves you guessing. And it's most comparable to kind of the feeling that you get afterwards. I would say Martyrs, like how you feel at the end of that movie, where you kind of feel crushed and confused, and kind of don't know what to say. Yeah, like late phases is the same way. But it's definitely something to check out. I know it's Echo Bridge and the transfer sucks, but you can get it for like $2 on Blu-ray. So
$2. No, it's $14.99.
Sean, I don't know if you're being serious or not.
No, I'm serious. I just looked it up.
What about
on Amazon?
Look at
used, man, $9.90 something plus $4 fucking shipping.
Oh, but you spent $30 on Studio Ghibli films. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, but that's Studio Ghibli, man. That's art.
Yeah, like you bring home like 4 discs. Like, I spent $200 on these 2 Blu-rays, but goddamn, $13 on a movie is like, whoa, Brad, fuck you, man. Fuck you for mentioning something for $14. You should be happy.
I just ordered it actually, so. You better be right, man. This better be fucking good.
I wish I was in a business because I could sell you so much shit. I really could.
Sean, what do we have to do to get you to Fantastic Fest?
Donate $500 for my plane ticket.
How about this? Just stop buying movies for like 2 months.
Dude, that's the hardest thing ever to do. I tried that when I can't talk right now. When my wife lost her job, I had to go 6 months without buying movies. It was pure torture. Like seriously, pure torture.
It's needless. I mean, I buy Blu-rays, and trust me, I'm just like you. But I know when to fucking stop, and it's needless. It's needless.
I can't stop. It seriously, it's a sickness. I need help.
Like, you should mostly just focus on the limited stuff, because that's the thing that you kick yourself for not getting at the time.
That's
but
what
you
I've
just
actually...
like what you do is you go. I bet you every day you go on Blu-ray.com and check lowest prices and see what's like $3.99, so you can just buy it.
No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
No.
This is how you come home with Batman movies.
I have a legitimate reason for buying those last 2 Batman movies, and I think I covered that on the last podcast. And it had to do with the documentary.
Yeah, you did, but you can cover it, quote unquote, all you want, but you still do it. That's not all you buy though. Like the impulse buy of Pompeii for like $24.99 at Walgreens,
and then I sold it for $22. So it equaled out to a rental.
But this is what VOD, Amazon, and Voodoo's for.
Did you impulse buy Pompeii at Walgreens? Is that true?
It was Vaughn's. It was Vaughn's supermarket.
I know, but it's still the same thing. Because
I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, everybody. I have my flaws. And sometimes I impulse buy pure shit.
And he just says, I made my money back. But I was like, because that's what you did. You said, I made my money back on Pompeii. And I was like, what'd you make it? And he was like, $22. And I was like, why the fuck would you spend $22 anyway on Pompeii?
Dude, VOD rental was $5. I saved $3, motherfucker.
$3? What the heck are you talking about?
For 20 minutes of pure hilarity. It was worth it.
Like, I know we talk about Pompeii a lot on this podcast, but goddamn, Sean, this is what I'm talking about, though.
Hey,
Stop buying Pompeii.
I'm trying. Look. Here's my last few purchases: Salon Kitty, The Night Porter, Perfect Blue, and Dolph Lundgren's Battle of the Damned.
See, Battle of the Dam. Why didn't you buy? Oh God, here we go. You're gonna buy this now.
$7.
How about if you buy Command Performance?
Oh,
I own Command Performance on Blu-ray.
Oh, do
And
you
that
own the
movie's
Killing Machine?
Awesome. No, I don't. How much is it? I'm just kidding. All right. Before this turns into a Sean skewering hour, we've been going on long enough, so we can save that for next time. Brian's on the show.
yay!
He's gonna be on every episode now.
That's
Brian
fine.
replacement. No one will even know. No one will even know.
Look,
Did you say the Killing Machine's $5?
I have no idea, but I'm just about to search for it.
Yeah, I know you
Hold
are.
on,
It's
hold
also
on.
called like Icarus or something like that.
Hold on. Here we go. Loading. For some reason, my computer thinks it's on dial-up. $5.39. But
There you go.
is it on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
No, this is the Sonny Chiba collection. This isn't the Dolph Lundgren movie. Killing Machine, Shaolin Karate.
Well, whatever. All right. Podcast
anyway.
is over. I'm gonna play.
$1.47. $1.47, everybody. Yes. Dolph Lundgren in the house. All right. Okay. All right. By now, everyone has shut off the show.
No, it's Raiders of Atlantis soundtrack.
Everyone's turned it off.
The band is called Oliver Onions. I mean, how good is that? And the
Google-
song's called Black Inferno.
Google
So it's got like a
Oliver
black
Onions
exploitation.
and buy their shit.
Black Inferno.
All right. Well, I
Rolling,
think this is the cue that we
Black
are
Inferno.
we are done with this week's show. I want to thank all of you guys for listening. We're gearing up for some great shows, and enough of this bullshit. This bullshit will end, and we'll talk to actually, have some real shows the next few weeks. All right. Anyway, I'm going to wrap the show up. TheScreamcast.com. Check us out there. Find our Twitter accounts and Facebook account there. Huge thank you to oneofus.net for posting our show there. And
Black Inferno.
nerdly.co.uk for all their support. And that's it. We'll talk to all of you guys next week. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.
You're drunk.
Not yet.
For some reason, the fucking stupider we get, the more listeners we have.
Dude, we just had somebody post on Twitter like, I like it when Brad makes fun of Sean and all his racist stuff.
Surprised you didn't say anything this episode.
Fuck everyone. Hilarious.